The 2025 Las Vegas F1 Grand Prix is supposed to save the city after tourism dropped 6.1% in August, 8.8% in September, and 9.3% in October. But instead of bringing people back, Vegas is pushing them out. $100,000 hotel rooms, $80 nightly parking fees, $90 for a cocktail, and $30 for a bottle of water. This isn't entertainment anymore. It's daylight robbery. And what comes next is the part of the story they never wanted you to hear. The reality you walk into. This is the moment you realize Vegas isn't the same city you grew up hearing about. No more cheap rooms, no more big buffets, and definitely no more come have fun even if you're broke. Vegas. From the word go, reality punches you in the face as you see fares into the airport are up 15% year over year. You pay it anyway, possibly because you have no other option, or you just don't want the long drive to the Strip. But you do it hoping that things will be better later. You land for the long-awaited F1 weekend thinking you finally made it. So you grab an Uber, and the airport ride alone is $50 just to leave the terminal. But it gets even worse. You open your hotel app and see the cheapest 3-night rate sitting at $1,624. And that's not for a suite, not for a balcony, not for anything special. That's the bottom tier room at one of MGM's 9 hotels, a price that's already 24% higher than what it was last year. If that's too much for you, you decide to maybe check the premium options just to make sure that you are not reading the prices from them, and your stomach drops. Bellagio wants $2,846. Aria is $2,724. And Vidara is $2,391. And you haven't even stepped inside the lobby. So you tell yourself, okay, I'll stay somewhere cheaper, only to realize that even the budget spots have joined the madness. Luxor, $582. Excalibur, $525. For the same weekend. You scroll over to Caesars Properties, hoping for mercy. Slightly better, but still way up there. The average is $785 for 3 nights, down from last year, but hardly budget. And if you want something iconic like Caesar's Palace, that will cost you $1,324, while Cromwell holds at a clean $1,000. And here's where it really hits you. On a normal November week, Vegas hotels usually cost $140 to $160 a night. What you're paying now is 5, 10, even 20 times that. Now imagine you try to justify it because F1 tickets are cheaper this year. Sure, practice day starts at $50, and 3-day passes begin at $400. Before you know it, even a stripped-down, no luxury trip for 2 hits $3,000 without you doing anything special. And here's the sad truth. Vegas used to welcome everyone. Now, with tourism already dropping, with visitor numbers down 7.2% this year, F1 isn't saving the city. It's building a giant financial wall around it. So who actually gets through that wall? Not families, not middle-class travelers, not the regular visitors who kept this city alive. It's the ultra-wealthy, flying in for one loud, wild weekend and disappearing just as fast as they came. If that doesn't strike a nerve inside you and you decide to stay as a form of defiance to the Vegas CEOs, wait until you see what they are charging for food. Because by now, you already want a drink to wash down the pain of what you've just spent on your hotel room. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel to get updates on every new Las Vegas video we release. The scam in food and beverage. This is where you feel the old Vegas slipping through your fingers as you remember hearing stories about the city that once spoiled everyone with 99-cent shrimp cocktails, $4, and 99-cent rib specials, and all-you-can-eat buffets for under $10. Those weren't just meals. They were part of the magic. Casinos didn't care if they lost money feeding you because they knew cheap food kept you inside, playing, laughing, and staying longer. But during the F1 Grand Prix weekend, that Vegas is gone because get ready for these next insane price raises, and you will know exactly why you will feel ripped off. You wake up on your first morning in town, head down to grab a simple breakfast. Say, just 2 eggs, bacon, toast, and coffee, something that should be around $10 max. Instead, the server hands you a bill for $30. And that's before tax and tip. You get pissed, but hey, you have to eat, right? Then, a few hours later, you think about lunch and wander into a buffet, expecting a classic Vegas deal. But there are no deals left. The host looks you in the eye and says, "That'll be $42.99 per person." And that's one of the cheaper ones. After feeling ripped off, later that evening, you walk into a bar to clear your throat after shouting for your favorite racer, and you order a cocktail thinking, "All right, I'll treat myself." That treat costs $18 to $22, and the drink is barely stronger than a fruit punch. Even bottled water hits you. The same water that casinos used to hand out for free to keep gamblers hydrated now costs $7 to $10 at most kiosks. Then you wonder, what the hell happened? Corporate ownership happened. Wall Street firms and private equity took over the Strip and completely flipped the playbook. Cheap meals aren't promotions anymore. They're missed revenue opportunities. Every bar, restaurant, coffee stand, and minibar is now a profit machine. And now, you as a tourist have noticed. But the good thing, well, at least the comforting thing, is that you are not alone. TikTok is full of people posting $45 hamburgers with captions like, "How is this real?" Reddit is packed with warnings telling first-timers to double their food budget. Yelp reviews complain about watered-down drinks and sneaky concession recovery fees added to bills. And here's the part that hits the city hard. When people feel ripped off on basics like food and drinks, they spend less everywhere else. Gamblers end their sessions early, families skip shows, and couples cancel pricey experiences. Sure, Vegas might squeeze $20 extra out of a burger, but it loses $2,000 in potential gaming and entertainment. And if you think food prices are bad, just wait until you know just how restricted you are as you enjoy the race. Restricted areas. This is the moment you realize Vegas doesn't feel free like Vegas anymore, because you are literally in a fenced-off maze. Huge pieces of Las Vegas Boulevard usually shut down, starting November 18th. What used to be a free-flowing street now feels like a gated community built for one weekend and one weekend only Formula One. You walk toward the Bellagio, excited to watch the famous fountain show. But when you get there, 2 entire lanes are sealed off 24/7 for the Bellagio Fountain Club. Even the sidewalk is blocked. Instead of the full fountain show, you're staring through glass panels, temporary seating, and concrete barriers. It feels less like Vegas and more like you're peeking through a construction site. Ison Young's data from the 2024 race showed what this did to the area. Foot traffic dropped 23.4%, and nearby small shops took the hit straight to the chest. And although News 3 LV reported that 2024 was less chaotic than 2023, the damage was still everywhere. Deliveries stopped. Employees couldn't reach their jobs. Tourists not interested in Formula One simply turned around because they didn't want to walk half a mile around barricades just to reach a single store. Sure, the race brings excitement for those watching it, but for the others, especially the small businesses, they automatically know that their streak of losses has just begun. This is because earlier race start times mean even earlier road closures. That means fewer customers, fewer hours open, and more days watching money burn. But hey, at least you got the fun from watching the race. And if all went well in the race course, you probably had a good time. So you decide to park up your things and leave. But Vegas isn't letting you off the hook that easily, because what you get next is a scenario where the very Vegas you came to have fun in decides to milk you dry of every penny you have. Hidden charges. You walk up to your hotel checkout desk feeling good about your trip. You think you already paid for everything. The room, the taxes, the resort fee, all of it. But then the final bill slides across the counter, and suddenly your stomach drops. There it is. A whole list of charges you never agreed to, never saw, and definitely never expected. Welcome to the new Las Vegas. For decades, this city sold you the fantasy of a cheap getaway. $39 rooms, neon lights, big buffets, and endless fun. But by now you've already experienced the ugly side of it since you were financially exploited from the moment you decided to take that flight to Vegas. Maybe you grabbed a drink from the minibar, or maybe you just picked it up to see what flavor it was. Too late. Many strip hotels use sensor-triggered fridges that charge you $15 to $20 just for lifting an item, even if you put it right back. And you won't notice it until days later when your credit card statement hits you like a punch. Oh, and did you check in a bit early? That might be another $25 to $75 early check-in fee. Leaving an hour late because your flight is delayed? Another charge. Another line item? And then come the really strange ones. Maybe at one point in the hotel, you asked for an extra towel. Now you get charged a $4 linen recovery fee. Others report room delivery fees added automatically, even when they went downstairs and picked up their food themselves. It feels less like hospitality and more like a trap. And it's breaking trust fast. A 2024 J.D. Power survey found Las Vegas hotels ranking near the bottom nationwide for guest satisfaction, with hidden fees being the #1 complaint. People aren't just annoyed, they're leaving.
I came in yesterday, and the airport was surprisingly empty.
Visitors who used to return every year are now choosing off-strip hotels, Airbnb rentals, or even places like Lake Tahoe instead, anywhere they can get a bill that doesn't read like a mystery novel. And with everyone moving out, Vegas has been left looking like a ghost town. And here's the kicker. It's not by accident. Since Wall Street got involved, Vegas is being strategically designed to get rid of middle-class visitors to cater only for the super rich. When Wall Street got involved. In 2022, while most people were distracted by the post-pandemic chaos on the Strip, a much larger shift was happening quietly in the background. For decades, Las Vegas casinos were run by people who actually lived in the city. They understood the regular gamblers, the VIP visitors, the cocktail servers, and even the locals who stopped by after work to play a few low-stakes games. The industry was built by people who were part of the community. But around 2021, that long-standing structure began to change. Large casino operators started selling their land and buildings to major investment firms, companies normally involved in commercial real estate, stock portfolios, and retirement funds, not slot floors or poker rooms. With those deals, Wall Street finally got their hands on Las Vegas. At first, it didn't seem like anything dramatic. The casinos continued operating under the same names, and the machines kept running. But these new ownership agreements brought an entirely different set of expectations. Quarterly earnings calls, investor presentations, and strict profit goals. Instead of being guided by casino veterans who loved the city's culture, operations were now directed by financial executives who had never spent time walking the Strip or sitting in a sports book. Every part of the casino had to generate revenue. If something didn't meet the financial target, it was removed. Free parking disappeared, affordable buffets vanished, and the old comp system, once based on relationships and loyalty, was replaced with digital tracking that calculated a guest's spending before offering rewards. This was the turning point. Las Vegas slowly stopped feeling like the playful, guest-friendly destination it had always been. It began to feel more like a tightly controlled business machine, where the priority was maximizing every dollar rather than creating memorable experiences. The corporate era had taken over, and for the first time, the city seemed more focused on how much money it could extract from visitors than on giving them a reason to come back. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I wonder, what do you think about the F1 Las Vegas Grand Prix? Is it worth the money, or is it just another ripoff? Leave your thoughts in the comment section, and click here to check out another video.